The first Dodge Super B ever shown to the public was a convertible. Dodge never sold one, not in 1968, not ever. So why was it built and what happened to it? In the winter of 1968, the vehicle that introduced the Super B nameplate to the automotive press and public was a fully functional open-top concept. It was built to generate showroom interest and command the attention of the motoring press. Yet, this high-profile promotional vehicle never appeared on a standard dealership order form. Dodge division positioned the car as the face of its new performance identity, but corporate planners had already finalized assembly schedules that excluded the convertible body style entirely. When retail deliveries began, the showrooms held only fixed-roof coupes. The structural mismatch between the initial promotional campaign and the actual production reality left buyers looking at a vehicle they could see on posters but could never actually own. In the spring of 1967, Plymouth was finalizing plans for the Roadrunner, a stripped-down, high-output model aimed directly at budget-conscious youth buyers. Recognizing the threat to Dodge's performance standing, Division General Manager Robert B. McCurry acted. He issued a direct mandate to his styling and engineering groups, ordering a Dodge counterpart to the upcoming Plymouth. The division needed immediate entry into this lower-priced market, leaving no time to design a new architecture from scratch. Instead, product planners turned to the existing midsize B-body platform, using the Coronet as their foundation. This established unibody structure allowed engineers to bypass lengthy development cycles, turning a corporate directive into a rapid, production-ready response to their sister division's success. Dodge's styling department held an internal naming contest for the upcoming B-body performance model. Senior designer Harvey J. Wynn submitted the winning entry Super B, a direct play on Chrysler's mid-size platform designation. Rather than drawing inspiration from external media, Wynn adapted the corporation's existing Scat Pack B medallion, reshaping the caricature into a dedicated emblem. This hand-drawn logo featured a cartoon bee wearing a helmet and goggles, framed by a circular border. The final graphics were placed on the rear quarter panels and the front grille. Wynn's work translated a corporate engineering code into a highly visible performance brand. The resulting emblem gave the Coronet its own visual language that secured its performance credentials. In January 1968, Dodge introduced the first physical Super B at the Detroit Auto Show inside Cobo Hall. This launch vehicle functioned strictly as a one-off promotional object rather than a production preview. Builders assembled the car using a factory 1968 Coronet convertible chassis as the base. To prepare the vehicle for the exhibition circuit, Dodge subcontracted the specialized interior work to renowned Detroit customizers Mike and Larry Alexander of the Alexander Brothers Custom Shop. The craftsmen modified the cabin with distinct upholstery and hand-stitched accents, changing the standard Coronet interior into a hand-built exhibition display. For historians validating this vehicle's existence, the chain of custody depends on specific archival markers. Provenance is established through official 1968 show programs, internal Chrysler memos, and the Alexander Brothers shop records and photographs. Physical verification of any potential surviving candidate relies on standard Coronet convertible 5YN sequences body tag locations, and the corresponding frame stamps. These documents and physical identification points represent the primary evidence for tracking this single promotional vehicle, providing a verifiable baseline for researchers seeking to confirm the exact origins of this lost open-top concept. While the Detroit show car suggested an open-top option, factory assembly lines told a different story. From 1968 through 1970, every retail Super B left the plant as a fixed-roof vehicle, starting as a pillared coupe and later expanding to a hardtop. Dodge never opened the order books for a convertible. By contrast, Plymouth did offer a 1969 Roadrunner convertible, but sold only 2,128 units. For Dodge, the numbers simply did not justify the investment. Removing the B-body roof required extensive structural compensation, including underbody torque boxes, frame connectors, and a reinforced windshield header to maintain torsional rigidity. On a budget-oriented performance line, these low-volume engineering modifications added too much production cost and assembly line complexity. The original launch convertible has never been found. No records place the Detroit show car in any museum, auction registry, or private collection. It vanished from the public record after its exhibition tour. Similarly, the persistent story that Chrysler built 4 other concept convertibles remains entirely unproven. Without official build sheets, factory invoices, or matching fender tags, these rumored cars exist only as enthusiast folklore. Any future discovery must rely on these physical documents for verification. Until physical proof is uncovered, the paper trail for Dodge's open-top Super B ends not in discovery, but in silence. If any of the rumored 4 convertibles survived, they remain hidden. Until a verified vehicle identification number emerges, the open-air Super B remains Mopar's ultimate phantom. Subscribe for more lost history.